What's up? What's up? What's up? You know who this is? You know who this is? This your boy Trap Bees. Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you see me? I can see you. I can see you. I can see you. I can see you. Temptation is easy, but life is hard. I like my chicks thick, just like Nicki Minaj. I've been rapping for a minute, but it's just the beginning. I'm allergic to losing and addicted to winning. I ain't rich, but the swag is worth $1 million. Iced out wrist, yeah, homie, I'm chillin'. Entrepreneur, trying to get my money to the ceiling. Bill collector, stop calling, what a wonderful feeling. Responsibility for me, it comes with age. This a new chapter in life, so turn the page. I ain't trying to stay back in the past, forget the nonsense. Got no time for haters or negative comments. I remember growing up, man, I used to have dreams, and now I just want to be a success by any means, whether it be in this music or something else. I'ma make the most out of the hand that I was dealt. I'll be on the grind all day, every day. Champagne, jet plane, I'm going to the top. Money on my mind all day, every day. I'ma go so hard, I will not stop. I'll be on the grind all day, every day. Champagne, jet plane, I'm going to the top. Money on my mind all day, every day. I'ma go so hard, I will not stop. When I was a teen, niggas couldn't tell me nothing. I was so young and naive, it's hard to believe, especially when it came to relationships. Loving for the wrong reasons is because of those hips. Fascinated by the way the girl's body was shaped. You damn right, I was trying to get that birthday cake. Instead of focusing on girls, should have been focused on college. Cause the older I get, life requires more knowledge. Times change, went from recession to progression. And I hope all these CEOs have learned their lessons. Being greedy will put you on the street corner with the needy, holding a sign, cause now you can't even make a dime. That's why I'm learning how to cherish the little things in life. I try to do less wrong and try to do more right. And little homie, don't pay attention to those bums. You can make it anywhere, no matter where you from. I'll be on the grind all day, every day. Champagne, jet plane, I'm going to the top. Money on my mind all day, every day. I'ma go so hard, I will not stop. I'll be on the grind all day, every day. Champagne, jet plane, I'm going to the top. Money on my mind all day, every day. I'ma go so hard, I will not stop. I approach rapping with the same passion as acting, illustrating out the actions while you imagine what happened. Money don't make me, I make money. It be a fight to the death if anybody take it from me. I'm a real G and real G's do real things. I've been putting in work since before I was a teen. Ain't talking in the streets, I'm talking over the beat, killing the track. This is murder first degree. Music is like a drug that I just can't kick. So every other week it's like I'm putting out new shit. It's like a natural high when I got the pen in my hand. I can go to different places, I don't think you understand. I'm only human, so I'ma express the way that I feel. Mommy don't like me cussing in my raps for real, but this microphone is my favorite place to vent. And if I said it in my lyrics, then that's what I really meant. I'll be on the grind all day, every day. Champagne, jet plane, I'm going to the top. Money on my mind all day, every day. I'ma go so hard, I will not stop. I'll be on the grind all day, every day. Champagne, jet plane, I'm going to the top. Money on my mind all day, every day. I'ma go so hard, I will not stop.
Please remember that this is just a melody. Just a melody.
What's going on, everybody? What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Zone 864 podcast. I am your host, Traptor Don. How you guys doing? Today is Saturday, October 2nd, 2021. Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing out there? Hope you all are having a wonderful weekend thus far. Hope you all are getting a chance to relax from your stressful work weeks. And I hope you guys are also plotting, planning, strategizing, and executing, as this is a season of unrest. This is a season of unrest. Although the holidays are coming upon us, believe you me, don't be fooled by a lot of the okey doke you see out here, you're hearing out here. This is a season of unrest. Make no mistake about that.
Please remember that this is
Only the
just
strong shall survive. And as God's people, we are strong people. As Black people, we are strong people. Notice how I said that? Let me say that one more time. As God's people, we are a strong people. All inclusive, as God's people. And I'll encompass that even further by saying, as Black people. I'm not talking about African Americans. I'm not talking about Africans. I'm not talking about Black Canadians. I'm not talking about Black Hispanics, Black Asians. Black people. We are strong. And I made sure to emphasize God's people at the beginning of that, because Black society, we do have allies that are not Black. Believe it or not, they see the struggle. They understand what's going on. They see the okey doke. They see all this fraudulent stuff that's going on. And they are with us too. So I don't want to exclude our allies that ride with us, just like we will ride with them in a time of need. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm a rider. I'm a rider. Anything that's ever been done, accomplished, when it comes to Black people, it's always been the riders. It's always been the riders to get it done. I'm a rider. Yeah, puffy voice. Take that, take that. As we come on in the house, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button, share button. Watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, hit that like button, hit that share button. Feel free to share your comments. I do read comments. I will engage. Sometimes when I'm live and I'm dialoguing, I'm not always able to respond right then and there, but Best believe I will respond when the podcast is over. Intelligent conversation. Yeah. I've always been a person, I've always liked to, when I talk to people that have a different perspective than I do, I don't like to talk to a lot of people that have the same perspective because I feel like I don't grow as a person. I feel like what contributes to our growth as people is an opposite perspective of what we have in a lot of things. All right, y'all. So without further ado, I'm going to be talking about the rise and the fall of Haiti this afternoon. Again, hit that like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Today's dialogue is really, really important. It's important for everybody, but it's especially important for Black people because we know as Black people, we are under constant attack and it's never going to end. The attack on Black people, Black societies, Black nations, Black family, Black girls, Black boys, this assault on Blackness is never going to end. So that's why I use my talents and I take to the microphone, or I go inside the booth and I write a rhyme, write a verse, put together a song, or I'll connect with my brothers and sisters at a function and try to contribute where I can. I'm not necessarily trying to be a leader. I'm just trying to be a player. I'm just trying to be a piece in this puzzle that we're in. So I'm just hitting the microphone as a constant reminder that no matter how easygoing things may get or seem, because every time you have chaos, you always have the eye of the storm right after. And then you have the second part of the storm that comes, and it's way worse than the first part of the storm. And I think a lot of us as Black people, we get caught up in the eye of the storm, not realizing that the storm isn't over. It's not finished. Let me go ahead and switch up my screen here. The rise and fall of Haiti. Again, I wanted to talk about this topic because it's a really important topic when it comes to Black people, when it comes to Black society. If you're watching on Instagram, make sure you hit that like button. Hit the like button, hit the comment button, hit the, well, my Instagram page is private, so just hit the like button. You can find me on Instagram. Sorry to interrupt my dialogue, but you can find my public podcast page on Instagram. Just type in Zone 864 Podcast, Zone 864 Podcast. That will take you to my public podcast IG page. Show me some support. Hit that follow button. Anyway, so I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but I don't know how you could not be aware unless you've been under a rock somewhere, or you just have blatantly not have been paying attention to what's going on in the world. I pay attention to what goes on in the world. I don't watch TV. I don't even have a TV. I don't even have a TV. It's a distraction. I put a post on my Facebook page the other day talking about how I could never watch TV again and I'll be perfectly fine, because I feel like
when you watch TV, even when you're on social media too much, it's all a distraction. It's all a distraction. It's all a part of, reprogramming and programming. Meanwhile, real life is out here going on in the world for real. And if you're sitting in front of the TV, giving the TV or the computer screen or your phone all of your attention, when all of this real life stuff is going on in the world, when shit really hits the fan, you're really going to be SOL shit out of luck. So, if I'm not working, I'm working. That's the way I look at it. If I'm not working, I'm working. Got to work to get myself to where I want to be. I have a certain way that I wish to live my life, and I have certain things that I wish to achieve in life. And I'm just now getting to an age where I can start setting goals for myself and actually have the discipline to try and do the things I need to do to accomplish those goals. I don't want to spend the rest of my life working like I'm a dog, working like I'm a slave, working 70 hours, 80 hours a week, working on a job that I really don't love, missing time with my children, missing time with my family. That is not the life for me, and that is not the life that I wish to live. So I'm working like hell to make sure that for the rest of my time here on this earth, that I don't have to do that I'll never end up like that. And I understand that my life is what the things that I want for my life is different from what you want for your life. But I know for me, in today's times, for me, what's important is making sure that I live the best life I possibly can, and to make sure that I give my kids, my child, my daughter, the best life, and future kids the best life that they could possibly have. And you can't necessarily do that when you spend all your time working for a corporation that sucks up all your labor and makes a huge mass profit out of it, and you get the lesser part of that. Your money run out every 2 weeks. You got to wait for another 2 weeks to get. I'm so sick of that lifestyle. That is not for me. My folks did not come through slavery for me to be sitting here putting in all this labor for somebody else when I can take that same hustle, that same ethic, that same labor, and put that into myself and create my own business or have my own product and push it out there the same way that these massive corporations do. Hold on, y'all. Got to make sure my setup is right here. It's always some kind of small technical difficulties when you go live. Sorry, y'all. I know I keep getting sidetracked. Supposed to be talking about Haiti. Supposed to be talking about the rise and fall of Haiti, but I haven't been on since July. The last time I went live was July. So I'm trying to get out some stuff that's in my mind, in my heart, in my chest, in my thoughts. But I also don't want to rush. I do want to take my time and make sure that I get my message across. Because once it's on the internet, it's on the internet forever. And pieces like what I'm talking about is important. The rise and fall of Haiti. The first Black nation, if I'm not mistaken. And if I am mistaken, please feel free to correct me in the comments. The first Black nation to liberate itself 100% on the continent. I'm sorry, on the planet Earth. The first Black nation to 100% liberate itself from white supremacy on the planet. Haiti became an official nation January 1st, 1804. Now, the reason that I wanted to talk about this topic, and I know this situation has been out there for a couple of weeks now, and I know that a lot of people have done broadcasts and podcasts and talk pieces and clips about Haiti. And I wanted to come on at the time, but I said, you know, I'm just going to fall back and listen to what everybody else is saying so that I could gain my own perspective, so that I could learn a little bit more about the situation. Because I like to listen to things. I like to listen to older people talk. The funny thing, when you listen to older people talk, you find out stuff that's not even in history books. You find out stuff that's not online. So I would encourage anybody out there that's young like me, I'm only 33. If you get a chance to talk to anybody older, ask them questions, especially older Black people, because it's a lot of stuff when it comes to Black people that's not going to be published online, that's not going to be put in books. All of that is going to be hidden because they don't want you to know it. It's a lot of stuff that I found out over the years that I've learned from older Black people that I've had to, just scrub through certain articles and go through search after search to try to find to try to corroborate what they say. And that's another thing too about this whole internet, is that keep in mind what's on the internet is what they want you to know, and what's not on the internet is what they don't want you to know. So it's a lot of information that's on the internet, but it's a lot of information that's not on the internet too. That's why it's important for families to communicate certain things. This is why it's important, especially Black people. This is why it's important to communicate with your kids and really teach them, because if you don't teach them, the world is going to teach them. And right now, the world is not teaching these young people shit, in my opinion. I got a daughter that's 12, and I can tell you right now, if me and her mother, if we weren't hands-on parents, she would be completely lost. Because the world is just so confusing. All of these agendas and stuff being pushed. But that's neither here nor there. We can talk about that some other time. You pull up some information here. So a couple weeks ago now, I believe it's been about a couple weeks, 2.5 weeks or so, it was all over the media that there was a bunch of Haitian migrants in Texas, in Del Rio, Texas, basically almost like a refugee camp. And these Haitian migrants were all camped out in Del Rio, Texas. Like 15,000 of them, probably even more. That's just the number I saw in online in a few mainstream media posts. Could have been 25,000 for all we know, but they said it was 15,000. And a lot of antennas went up when this story went out. Now we know you got your boy. We know who's in office right now. Crime Bill Joe. Crime Bill Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe. one of the main legislators when it comes to mass incarceration, one of the main legislators when it comes to uh, the crack laws,
Please remember
one of the
that this is
main
just
legislators that made it illegal for colleges and universities to forgive student debt 100%. This man, Joe Biden, I don't care if this causes all my social media to get taken down. This man, Joe Biden, has been in Washington causing chaos, havoc, and destruction for 40 years, probably even more. You can easily put this man at the forefront, almost single-handedly, at the destruction of Black society over the past 35, 40 years. I said what I said, and I don't care if it causes my YouTube channel to get a strike. I don't care if it causes my Instagram or Facebook to get taken away. They can have that shit. I'm going to say what's on my mind. Anyway, 15,000 Haitian immigrants in Del Rio, Texas. They set up shop, created a migrant refugee camp. These Haitian migrants migrated from South America, through Central America, through Mexico, only to get here and be flown out back to Haiti. Something going on with my, see, I done said something about Joe Biden and something going on with my Instagram. Okay, there we go. All of these migrants came here just to get flown out. Let's talk about a little bit of history here. And I'm just going to be talking on a surface level history basis. I don't really want to go into depth about the history of Haiti, because if I do, I'll be sitting on this microphone all day. And I ain't got time for that. I got things to do. So, before I start talking about the Haitian border crisis and all of these migrants that came through over to Del Rio, Texas, and I heard that there are thousands more, possibly tens of thousands more, migrating from Haiti to the United States, coming through by way of South America, Central America, and Mexico. Now, just to touch on a little bit of history when it comes to Haiti. So, and what I'm doing is I'm showing y'all why Haiti is where they are today, but I'm also going to show you the rise as well. We're going to talk about the rise and the fall. The first time that Haiti was colonized was by the Spanish, by none other than your boy Christopher Columbus. Now, that's what it says in these articles. That's what it says in the articles. Christopher, there's a lot of shady history when it comes to Christopher Columbus. Did he really discover this? Did he really discover that? But just for time's sake, (1492), Christopher Columbus. The Spanish were the first to colonize Haiti. This would have been between the dates of 1492 through 1625. This was the first time that Haiti was colonized by the Spanish. The Spanish was the first to colonize Haiti between 1492 and 1625. The second group of people, and this would explain why a lot of Haitians, why they speak French, why they have French names, French dialects. The French were the second group of people to colonize Haiti. This would have been between 1625 through 1804. This is when, so you had the Spanish at first, you had Christopher Columbus and the Spanish coming up in there, colonizing. Now, when I say colonize, they basically coming over and they're taking over the land with their weapons. They're already causing chaos and terror. So when I say colonize, that's exactly what I mean. They're already colonizing. They're already causing havoc. The next group of people to go over to Haiti and cause havoc were the French. By this time, this was 1625 through 1804. By this time, this is when Napoleon and them started to rise up in power and take over the world. They took over parts of the southern United States. The French. See, we talk a lot about, the redcoats and stuff like that over here in the US, but people really forget how strong militarily France was back in the day.
Please remember that this is just
The French came in kicking everybody's ass, kicking the Spanish, kicking the Spanish's ass, kicking the British's ass, the British people's ass. So we thought the Spanish were bad. France, militarily, back then, they were really bad. So it was taken over, colonized by the Spanish first, and then the French second. And then from 1791 to 1804, we had the Haitian Revolution. In the Haitian Revolution, we have two key players. And again, I'm skipping over a lot of history because, again, if I just sit here and I talk about the full history of Haiti, I will literally be here all day and probably all night. And plus half the names, I can't even pronounce half the names anyway, when it comes to these Haitian soldiers and leaders, because they're all French and Spanish and all of that. So you had the Haitian Revolution from 1791 to 1804. Within that revolution, the two major key role players within the Haitian Revolution, Toussaint Louverture and General Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Those are your two key players when it comes to the Haitian Revolution. Now, with that little bit of history spotlighted, I want y'all to really just kind of sit back for a minute and think. First, the Spanish took over, then the French took over, and then the Haitians rose up to kick the French's ass, to kick the Frenchman's ass, putting them all in body bags like, hey, this is our land. Either go or we're going to take you out. Now, one key thing that I do want to add in there, aside from the Haitians rising up and becoming the beautiful savages that they had to become in order to liberate themselves and get their own independence, yellow fever also played a major factor in allowing and helping the Haitians liberate themselves from the French. Yellow fever. See, we also have to understand that, a lot of these Frenchmen back in the day, back then, you see, they brought a lot of sicknesses to a lot of these other places. But the Frenchman's DNA, the Frenchman's genetic makeup was also not strong enough to withstand the conditions of the Caribbean nation of Haiti. So my personal opinion, that was just something that was from, from the higher power saying, hey, you guys are not supposed to be here. Here's this yellow fever. Take this yellow fever and go and die from it. You ain't supposed to be taking over these people's land. So by the powers vested in me, I'm going to give you this yellow fever and you're going to go over there in a dirt crevice and die. Because your asses wasn't supposed to be over here in Haiti in the first place. So go on and take your yellow fever and go on over there and die. You ain't supposed to be here in the first place. And I want y'all to keep in mind that this Haitian Revolution lasted 13 years. 13 years it took Haiti to gain its liberation throughout the Haitian Revolution. The first black nation on earth to liberate itself from white supremacy. There's no other way to say it. You have to be a strong group of people to do something like that. Do y'all see the picture I have up on the screen? If you're watching on Instagram, sorry, you can't see the screen. You'll have to go to my Twitter page on Twitter if you want to see the screen, the picture on the screen. Just type in Zone 86 Podcast on Twitter, or you can type in my Twitter handle at Podcast Zone 864. That will take you to my Twitter page where you can also see a live stream, or you can go to my YouTube page. Just type in Zone 864 on YouTube. That will take you to my YouTube page, and you can also see the picture I have up on the screen. I am not on camera today because I want you guys to focus on what I'm saying. I want you to take these words and put it in your mind, put it in your soul. Try to capture everything that I'm saying, because everything that I'm saying is important and it relates to Black people today 1,000%. 1,000%. And I'm glad, as a half Trinidadian male myself, by way of my father. My father's Trinidadian, but I don't go around calling myself Trinidadian. My mother's foundational Black American, or descendant of slaves, or Native Black American, however you choose to, whichever term you choose to clarify or classify Black Americans from the soil. This is a topic that I really, really enjoy. I'm really, really glad that I get to speak about, and I can kind of understand it in ways that, let's say, a non-Caribbean Black person, a Black person with non-Caribbean descent, and that wasn't raised in a Caribbean household, because I was raised in a Caribbean household for the first half of my life because my grandparents raised me. They immigrated from Trinidad to New York to South Carolina, and I was born in South Carolina. In New York, my father was born from two full-blooded Indian Trinidadian parents. They moved to South Carolina. My dad met my mom met my dad, and boom, I was born. 1988. I'm 33. And on my mom's side, we have roots that go back to slavery. One thing that I also want to talk about and bring up as well. See, people have to understand when it comes to slavery as well. There weren't that many African slaves that were brought from Africa to the mainland of North America. A large majority of African slaves were dropped off in South America and scattered across the Caribbean. More African slaves were actually dropped off in the Caribbean and South America than the mainland of North America. Understand that the group of Native Black Americans, and when I say Native, I mean Native like from this land, meaning that there were a group of slaves that were brought from Africa and had children on American soil, birthing and causing a new birth line of Black people. Native, because we are native for the Black people that are from this North America soil. We are native to this land, just like the Native Americans, just like the Native Americans that you have the Cherokee, and you have all of these different tribes. All of us are not from Africa. See, a lot of Black people were settled in this North American land as well. We didn't just all come from Africa. And that is a lie that they continue to perpetuate in the public school system, generation after generation after generation. And that is also why there is so much controversy when it comes to the teaching of critical race theory, which is basically the fundamental structure of Black people, period. They try to make it seem like critical race theory is about, all of this other stuff. It's really about the teachings of Black people. It's really about the teachings and the true history. That's why. And listen, I don't think they should teach critical race theory in these schools, because all they're going to do is they're going to take the information and they're going to spin it around, and they're going to publish these books with false information, half truths. You're not going to get the full diagram of information, and you will never get the full diagram of information in a public school system. That's why it is important for us as Black people to teach our children about their lineage. They need to understand that you might have relatives in South America. You may have relatives in the Caribbean. Black people outnumber white people on this earth by an overwhelming majority. It's just that the dominant society, aka white folks, have created these systems, these global systems, to dominate and maintain control. And anytime a group of people that is not white comes together and has a uprising, they want to use those systems on us. Whether it be financially, whether it be educationally, whether it be socially. Oh, I could really go there today, but I just do not have the time. So y'all want to sit in front of the TV all day. I want to read books. I want to get educated. So that when somebody comes at me with some bullshit, I can say, no, that's bullshit. I'm not one of these dudes that sits in front of the TV all day like you do and not learn anything. And I'm not talking about anybody specific. I'm just talking about people that watch one program on TV and think they know what they're talking about. I'm talking about the people that think that they're actually learning something in public school. But again, I want to keep this about Haiti.
Please remember that this
So
is
like I
just
said,
a melody.
just put that in your mind and understand that the significance of the first nation on the planet Earth becoming strong enough to overthrow the French, to overthrow white supremacy. I think that's something that's taken for granted today. I think that's something that's not emphasized and not focused on enough today. When it comes to Black history, I'm not talking about American Black history. I'm talking about Black history. Understand, Black history is in Africa, is in South America, is in Central America, is in the Caribbean. Black history is everywhere. It ain't just on one continent, it's everywhere. And ever since January 1st, 1804, Haiti hasn't really been able to get its balance since. Haiti has been struggling its ass off to basically hold its own. They just lost their president earlier this year. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Let's see here. President Jovenel Moise. Let me see. Assassinated in July of 2021. Assassinated on July 7, 2021, roughly around 1 a.m. President Jovenel Moise, the fifth Haitian president assassinated in the entire history of the nations, in the entire history of the nation. The fifth president. So ever since Haiti has gained its liberation, It's been under constant attack, literally from the day it gained its independence. Now, in my personal opinion, and maybe this might not even be an opinion, this is something that can be spoken on, I'm sure, by others. The primary reason of the fall of Haiti is because let me drink some water before I go on here. Taking my time with this.
Please remember that this is just a melody.
The primary reason of the fall of Haiti is because Haitians have failed to assimilate themselves into Black culture, into Black society. They allow themselves to get fooled into thinking that the Black Americans over here in over here in North America are not their brothers and sisters. They allowed themselves to get fooled that the Black people that are in South America are not their brothers and sisters and cousins and aunts and uncles. They allowed themselves to get fooled that the brothers and sisters over there in Africa are not their brothers and sisters. So, because of that, they have isolated themselves out of ignorance from the rest of Black society across the world, out of ignorance and poor leadership. And unfortunately, this is not something that just relates to Haiti. This relates to a lot of Black foreign nations, primarily Black foreign nations. There is no way in hell, there's not a snowball's chance in hell of defeating white supremacy unless we come together. There are more Black people on this earth than there are white people. I think I read somewhere one time that just the Black people that are here in North America alone, I think we have like the 9th or 10th largest economy separate from the North American economy. Just Black people alone in North America, I think we have like the 9th or 10th largest economy on the planet. Which means that if Black people here in North America wanted to, if we really wanted to, we have the resources and the capital to begin establishing our own nation. And where we went wrong here in North America, because I don't just want to I don't just want to highlight everything that's wrong with Haiti without holding ourselves accountable. Where we went wrong here was the civil rights movement. We wanted integration instead of separation, when in reality, Black people and Black society and Black families were much better when we had our own separate schools and communities and neighborhoods. And once we began to integrate, we lost everything. And I'm not saying that integration was necessarily a bad thing, but when Black people had that desire to integrate, it made us lazy. It made us lazy. And unfortunately, that laziness is still around today. You would rather take a job instead of start your own business. And now look what's happening. They're telling a lot of you that you can't even go to work if you don't put something in your arm. If you don't put this in your arm, we ain't even gonna let you work. That's how crazy and horrific white supremacists are. And I'm not calling every white person a white supremacist. I'm not calling every white person that runs a Fortune 500 company or Fortune 100 company a white supremacist. But unfortunately, a large majority of them are. Especially if you look at what's going on right now today. As I was saying, where Haiti went wrong was isolating itself from the rest of Black society across the world. And unfortunately, they had to pay the price for that. So now they want to come over here. Now they want to ask the Black people in the United States for help and all of this support and all of this kind of stuff. When in reality, listen, Black people have always been like, I want to go to Haiti and I want to, I want to help the people of Haiti. I want to start a business. I want to start a foundation in Haiti. But when Black people go over there, the Haitians want to reject us as if we're different. Yes, we might have different history. They want to reject us because they think the Haitians are still stuck in the past, thinking that they're still in the Haitian Revolution when the Haitian Revolution ended long, long ago. Y'all stopped being revolutionary. We ain't stopped being revolutionary over here in the United States. That's why when these damn cops start acting up, that's why you see us take to the streets. That's why you start seeing us take over things. That's why you start seeing the news is showing all of us outside. Holding people accountable. If a cop rolls up and messes with a Black kid just for walking down the street, we pulling up to your house. And we gonna get you fired from your job. Or make you have to move out the state. We are going to hold you accountable. We're not asleep over here. The same way that I'm sitting here talking to y'all on this microphone we got 1,000 other brothers and sisters just like me over here speaking facts and talking knowledge on their microphones, on their phones, on social media, in Washington, D.C., in California, in Florida, in New York, in Seattle, Washington. Don't ever get it twisted. We got all four corners of the United States on lock. Y'all can believe whatever nonsense they put on mainstream media about Black Americans if you want to. We don't play that shit. Why do you think they're having such a hard time right now trying to, get employers to get their employees to come back, especially the black people? Because we ain't stupid. We are not stupid, and we are not going for your games. We're not going to sit here and have y'all tell us we got to put some bullshit in us just to go get a little ass paycheck that's only going to last us 2 weeks, when we've learned last year in 2020 that we can start a business and run a business successfully and make 2 or 3 times the money that we're getting from these jobs, sitting perfectly in our homes on our computers, and don't even have to go outside if we don't want to. So why would I take your funky ass little ass paycheck of your $500 or $1,000, however much you get every other week? Why would I take your funky little ass money when I can start my own business and live way more comfortably than I could off of your little bullshit $30,000 or $40,000 a year? And I understand that starting and running a business is not for everybody, but all I'm saying is that we're not going for the trick bag anymore. We're not falling for a lot of this nonsense that's being pushed on us out here anymore. When the shutdown happened last year, that showed us how much power that we really truly have. You thought you shut us down. You thought that you was going to hold us captive by telling us we got to stay in the home. But what happened is we took your little unemployment money. I didn't get any of it. I wish I would have, but I stayed working and all of that. You know, I ain't getting none of that money. But what it did is we took your money and we paid our bills and we started businesses. And when you opened back up shop and you said, we got to come back in there, we can't come back in there until we get the shop. We said, nah, man, y'all done paid us $600 for a week for 8 months to a year. We started our own business. We ain't going for that trick bag. Now, for some people, it may benefit. It may benefit you to go get the thing. But for a lot of us, we like, nah, man, nah. Prior to this pandemic, small businesses were responsible for 50% of the economy anyway. So when you shut things down and more people started businesses, more people in probably the history of any other time in this nation started businesses, how much of the economy do you think small business is responsible for now? How much of the economy do you think that small business will play a part of in the future, in the next 10 to 20 years? See, that's the thing. That's all an economy is. If you can make enough bread to pay your bills and have a little extra and go on vacation, see, you don't got to be a millionaire. See, a lot of people get caught up in this, I'm trying to be a millionaire, and that's great. That's great. But in reality, you really just only need enough money to pay your bills, you know, be able to take a little bit of a vacation every now and then and stack some bread up and then funnel some of that money into investments and property and anything else that's going to get you a return on investment, or ROI for short. When you hear somebody say ROI, that means return on investment. For people that don't know, sometimes you get around people and they start having conversations and they start using all that kind of fancy jargon and all that shit to try to show off their intelligence. You hear somebody say ROI, that means return on investment. You can tell them you learned that from the Zone 864 podcast, damn it. Because I'm teaching and I'm educating. Yeah, man. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see the process of what direction Haiti goes in. I just know that at this point, Haiti can no longer be stupid and deny Black people outside of its country. You cannot, it's, you know, from the time that Haiti gained its independence, January 1st, 1804, it's been continuing. It's been a fight to try to
Please
regain,
remember that this is just a melody.
try to get back to glory. And I'm gonna just tell you like this straight up. Whether you're in Haiti listening or you're Haitian and you're listening, you have Haitian relatives, I'm gonna tell you straight up. You're not really gonna be truly liberated until you begin to respect Black people across this world, and especially Black people here in the United States. We are not coons. We are not just people that dribble basketballs and throw footballs and write raps and sing songs and tell jokes. We are much more than that. Truth be told, that's why a lot of these foreign countries don't want Black people, don't want North American Black people in their country, because they know that we're going to go there and we're going to take it over. We're going to turn it up. We're going to take it to another level in a good way. When I look at people like my grandparents immigrated here from Trinidad in the 1970s, 1960s, I think 1960s. Immigrated from Trinidad to New York, Brooklyn. And let me tell you one thing about my grandparents. And this is where a lot of people from the Caribbean and a lot of people that have Caribbean bloodline or descendants of Caribbeans, such as myself, second generation descendant of a Caribbean, of Caribbeans. You're not half Trinidadian, like you're not half Jamaican when you go places. You're Black. I never once called myself Trinidadian, or sometimes I'll reference my Trinidadian lineage when I'm having certain conversations, but I'm not naive and I'm not stupid. When the police pulled me over like they did a few weeks ago, literally the police pulled me out my car. I had a headlight that was out on my car, my vehicle. I ain't even know it. I was just coming back from dropping my daughter off at her mom's house, and I had a headlight that was out, and I'm sitting at a stoplight, and there's a cop in front of me, but in the opposite direction. So in other words, I'm looking at the light and the cop is on the other side of the street. I'm looking at the street light and the cop is on the other side of the street looking at his light. But obviously, I guess if it's nighttime and somebody has a headlight out, you're going to notice. This cop immediately runs the light and does a U-turn and gets behind my vehicle. And as soon as my light turned green, he turned his flash, his sirens on, his lights on. I don't think he turned the siren on. He just turned the lights on. I pull over. He comes up to the car asking me, do I know why he's pulling me over? Now, I don't have any warrants. I don't have any parking tickets. I don't have any outstanding citations. None of that stuff. He comes over, short Mexican dude. His partner comes over to the passenger side, white female. They're asking me shit like, do I have weapons in the car, drugs in the car? So he asked me, I said no. She asked me, I shook my head because she heard me say no. So I shook my head. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, not trying to be fidgety and not trying to get y'all agitated because, I know how these cops love to get. So, long story short, I told him no, I don't got no drugs, no weapons, no firearms in the car. Get out the car, let me pat you down. So I put my hands behind my back, let them pat me down, told me to walk backwards towards him, then told me to turn around, and told me to go sit on the pavement. They continued searching my car. Obviously, they didn't find nothing. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Again. So while I'm on the ground, they start asking me questions about where I'm coming from, where I'm going. And when I'm telling them where I'm coming from and where I'm going, they like, man, that's a long drive because from where I live and where my daughter lives is an hour away, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic. And I pick my daughter up from school and I drop her off at home every single day because the kids are back in school. That's my commitment that I make as a parent, as a father. Yes, it's a long drive, but I'm gonna do my duty as a parent, as a father, even though it's a long drive, even though, gonna be paying for gas and all that. That doesn't amount to, that's me spending more time is more valuable than the time that it takes me to drive from one side of town to the other. So I don't care about that. I'll spend whatever I got to spend to be able to pick my daughter up from school, because a lot of parents don't get to do that. They don't get to pick their kids up from school and take them to school. A lot of kids ride the bus, stuff like that. So I'm getting ready to get off the ground. By this time, there's a second set of officers. So I'm this black man sitting on the ground, hands still behind my back. And there's 4 officers, 1 male, it's a short Mexican dude, and 3 females, 3 women.
This is just a melody.
And just as I'm about to get up off the ground, one of the women come over, they say, and next time we ask you if you have firearms in the car, you need to answer confidently. I'm like, ma'am, I did answer confidently. And we kind of got into a little spat there. But then I realized, you know what? I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to take it any further, because they would be too happy to blow my ass away right there on the sidewalk, on the pavement. And the sad thing about it is that, listen, when they pulled me over, I was already ready to die. I was already ready to get shot and be laying on the pavement and be a story in the fucking news. I was already ready to do that because, and listen, but before she even said, when we ask you if you have any firearms, you need to answer confidently, there was a question that she asked me before that happened. And I said something like, I said, we all know how this goes. And they gonna say, we don't know how this goes. And y'all know what I was talking about too. So yeah, that was a crazy situation, all because I had a headlight that was out when they could clearly see that my license was valid, my registration was valid. I didn't have any parking tickets, no outstanding citations, no warrants out for my arrest. They were able to make the traffic stop successfully. So why have me go sit on the pavement? Why go through all of that extra stuff? Why do all of that extra stuff when in reality, a lot of police officers are worried about when they do make a traffic stop, that might be their last traffic stop, because they might just walk up on a car and get popped. And next thing you know, they're either laid up in the hospital or they're dead. But you actually get a citizen that has a valid driver's license, valid registration, no parking tickets, no other outstanding citations, no warrants. And you want to make me put my hands behind my back, and you want to go through my car throwing things everywhere and making me sit on the ground for what? Anyway, the rise and fall of Haiti. The only way for Haiti to get back to its true glory is to connect with Black people across the world, across the African diaspora. That's the only way that Haiti is really going to be truly independent, because they were the first and only nation to truly 100% themselves, to truly 100% liberate themselves
Please
from
remember that this is just
white supremacy. We're going to need a lot of these Haitians to start thinking Black as well. You see, a lot of these Haitians, for some reason, they like to think they're French men and women. No, just because you got a little accent and you know how to speak French, you're still Black, nigga. You're still Black. When they pull Tiger Woods over, they don't be like, we got to have Black and Asian man. We got to mix Black and Asian man. When they pull Tiger Woods over, they like, no, we have a Negro. When they pull me over, they like, we have a Negro. If you're Black, when they don't care about your Haitian descent. They don't care about your Jamaican, your Trinidadian descent, your Nigerian descent. We don't have the luxury like the Europeans do of being able to separate ourselves and still be a part of a system like white supremacy. Because you could be a German and say, oh, I'm German, and still connect with the system of white supremacy, because it's a global system. We don't have the luxury or the affordability to be like, oh, I'm Haitian. I'm Haitian, but I'm not Black. Or I'm Nigerian, I'm not Black. Or I'm Guyanan, or whatever, any of the other African nations, I'm not Black. No, you're Black. If you have Black skin and you look like you have Black hair, if you just look Black, you're Black. And that's one thing about my grandparents, like I was alluding to, is I'm glad that they came over here and they assimilated well. They never tried to pull this, I'm Trinidadian. They never did that. And my grandfather has a solid cemented legacy in my hometown of Greenville, South Carolina. He has worked and helped numerous young Black youth, foundational Black Americans, American descendants of slaves, Native Black Americans, again, however you want to, African American, not really African American, because you can be white and you can be white, born in Africa, and then come to Africa and then come to America and be called an African American. So we've got to be careful about using that term African American, because that doesn't really necessarily pertain to the Black people over here in North America. So I'm glad that my grandparents, and they never came over here on some island stuff and I'm different. No, my grandparents understood that they were Black. Just because they're coming from Trinidad, it doesn't make them different. As far as I know, because they raised me the first half of my life. And I never saw them like talk up to or talk to somebody as if they were better than them. I never saw that. Even to
Please
this day,
remember
I
that
never
this is
seen
just
that at
a
all.
melody.
But I have seen a lot of islanders, a lot of Caribbean people try to talk like they're better than a black person that's over here in North America because they come from Jamaica or they come from Haiti or they come from one of these, Barbados or one of these Caribbean islands. I have seen other people come over here and talk down to black people here in North America just because they don't have, that same history of slavery like the slavery that happened over here in North America, as if that makes them better. When in reality, that doesn't. And it's crazy how black people globally have allowed themselves to become so brainwashed and think that they can separate themselves by nationality. Nobody gives a fuck about your nationality. You don't give a fuck about you being from Haiti or Jamaica or Trinidad or any one of these other African nations. Don't nobody give a fuck about that shit. Nigga, when you come over here, you black. They not asking you for your ethnicity and where your relatives from. When you come over here, you become a part of the struggle of Black Americans, Native Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. You don't become separate. You're not separate. Just like if I were to move from where I am right now and move out the country, like if I were to move to Haiti, me being from the United States wouldn't matter. I would just be black. And I'm my lineage may not have like the same history, but that doesn't fucking matter. And that's part of the reason that Haiti fell and Haiti has been down so long, because they have bought into this idea of I'm black, but I'm different. I'm black, but I'm separate. I'm black, but I'm better. When in reality, what was the use of gaining your independence if you were just going to stay weak? Your nation is weak. Haiti is weak. And it's not weak because of the people, because the Haitian people are some strong, hardworking people. I know some Haitians. But what happens is you get bullshit leadership and they're weak. And that's why a lot of black people globally want to come over here and rock with black people in North America, because we do have a strong influence. We are revolutionary. We do stand up when injustices happen. We do have the finances to back it up. We do know how to get out here and get a bag.
Please remember that this is just a melody.
We understand the struggle is real for all of us. We don't look at, oh, you from Trinidad or you Jamaica or Haitian. We don't look at that shit. Like, yes, it's cool to be proud of your lineage and your legacy and the history of your country. It's be cool to be proud of that. Ain't nothing wrong with being proud of that and being patriotic about that. But don't come over here with that stupid ass, dumbass, separate mindset of whatever your ethnicity or nationality is, but you're different. No, motherfucker. If you're black, you black. You the same, man. And that's the reason that Haiti was able to gain its independence and it fell shortly after. It's been falling ever since. Hasn't really been able to maintain and get back up to. That's why so many Haitians trying to come here. And it's sad. It's a sad thing. And I'm not, for anybody listening, don't get it messed up. I'm not talking shit about Haiti. Everything I'm saying is just straight facts and it's real. It's facts and it's real, man. How do we look? Because think about it. After slavery, there was a time where they were like, oh, y'all can go back to Africa. Y'all don't want to be over here, go back to Africa. And a lot of our relatives and ancestors was like, why would we go back to Africa when we just went through slavery and we built the country? Why would we go back to Africa and we just built the greatest country on the face of the earth? We just literally gave y'all all this free labor and put all of this power into building this country. So why would we go back to somewhere that we're not even really from like that? We've been out of Africa for 300 years, 400 years at that point, at the time of slavery. 200 to 300 years we've been out of Africa at that point. So why would we go back when we just spent all this time building the greatest nation on earth? And no, it's not perfect, but we ain't dumb enough just to put all this work and all this labor into something that we build and then let y'all just have it. No, the same way that you want to have your kids and grandkids here, we're going to have our kids and grandkids here too. And we're going to continue to build and we're going to continue to be great. And we're going to continue to work towards that goal of having our social economic structure in place the same way that the white supremacists have their global social economic structure in place. The rise and fall of Haiti. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate y'all for listening.
Please remember,
today was only a voice only podcast because I wanted y'all to focus on the message and not focus on my handsome face. Well, at least my mom tells me I'm handsome. That's all that matters. So thank you guys for listening. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. You can find me on YouTube. Type in Zone 864 Podcast. You can find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Podcast Zone 864. You can find me on Instagram by searching Zone 864 Podcast. I need to start using that IG page more often because I barely even use it. And if you're listening on Facebook, you can hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, if I believe. And I'm going to be starting a different Facebook page for my podcast soon. Gotta have my stuff right just in case just in case they try to cancel me one day. I gotta have multiple pages, multiple places that I can go and put my stuff out just in case people try to cancel me one day. And I can't be canceled, by the way. You're only canceled if you let yourself get canceled. If you let yourself get kicked in the ass and you stay down, that's your fault. So you can't cancel somebody like me because I'm not going to allow myself to get canceled. I'm not going to allow myself to get kicked in the ass and stay down. So again, I love you guys. Thank you all for listening. You guys have a great weekend and I will see you and talk to you next time. Peace.